Here we go. We did the notes on this yesterday. It's the same 4 steps. So I have them over here off to my side. You see where I'm pointing? These are the 4 steps. They're on your notes from yesterday. So is everyone looking up here without headphones in our ears, without looking at our phones or playing around with Pokemon or whatever you're doing over there? And all right, so number 1, what's my first step?
Change x to y.
Change f of x to y. So y equals x minus 3 squared plus 1. Does everyone understand the first rule? Make it y equals, right? Even if you have a headphone in your ear. Hey. All right, now, step 2. Switch x and y, right? So take the x and the y, switch places with them. So this y becomes x, and this x becomes y. Okay, so step 1, step 2, not too bad. Now step 3 might make you think a little bit. We need to solve for y. Okay, so if I'm solving for y, the first thing that's got to go is the loner. How do I get to a plus 1? Minus 1 on both sides. So minus 1 here, minus 1 here. Student, what is x minus 1? X minus 1, very good. This is live editing, I'm fine. Bless you, student. Now, next one. Do I get rid of that minus 3 or the squared or what? I can't get into the parentheses unless I get rid of that square. So the opposite of square is what? Square root. Okay. Square root both sides. So the square root of x minus 1 and the square root of this side. Now the square and the square root cancel out. I like to scratch them out to show that I know what's going on here. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite. You might want to write small. I should have said that at the beginning. Now, last step of this step, to get rid of that minus 3, what do I do? Plus 3. Now, don't get tricked by the tricky trick here. Square root of x minus 1 plus 3 is what? Okay. They don't combine. One's a square root, one's a regular number. Just put them next to each other. Okay. So I'm going to flip it around. Y equals square root of x minus 1. And then after the square root, I put the plus 3. So it's square root of x minus 1 plus 3. Okay. Now after all of that, my final step is to make sure I write it as an inverse. Change it back to f of x with a little -1, little inverse sign. So f inverse x equals square root of x minus 1, and then a plus 3 after that. Okay? Now, I put the harder one first. If you can follow that, then the harder ones that are like that, you should be able to do on here. Okay? So, yeah, there it is. Now, number 2 is a little bit easier. By that, I mean less steps. So, let's do number 2. Step 1. Change f of x to y, or in this case, change g of x to y. So it'll be y equals x squared plus 5. What's my next step? Switch x and y. So x equals y squared plus 5.
Get rid of the 5.
And then solve for y, step 3. And I do get rid of the plus 5 by subtracting. What's x minus 5? X minus 5. Last step, to get rid of a square, square root. Okay? Square root of x minus 5, square root of y squared, cancels out. So now I just have y equals square root of x minus 5. And then we want to return it to the inverse form. In this case, it's g inverse x, the square root of x minus 5. If you can do that, then you'll be able to do the assignment, okay? So, do you understand the assignment? Okay, got one last. All right, so, everybody, what you're going to do, thank you, a pity laugh, I like it. Now, you're going to do this assignment, and if you finish this, you want to make sure you've done these 3. How will you know if you've done them? Well, I gave you the little sheet, or the sub gave you the little sheet on Monday, or I gave it to you today or yesterday, but you can always check Skyward, see if you've done these. If you've turned it in since then, I'm working on it, promise. If you never took that quiz, or if you need to retake it, I'll let you do that right now. Otherwise, you're going to work on this. Cool? So everybody understands the assignment and what they're going to do, right? So let me pass these out, and we will get started.
Before I forget, you friend.